Everyone, remain calm.
Yeah, that's how it always starts. And later there's running and screaming.
Somebody talk to me! What is happening?
Welcome to Jurassic World.
You're listening to the Jurassic Park Podcast.
You want to consult here or in my bungalow? Hold on to your butts.
Well, we're back.
Hello and welcome to the 116th episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Jost, and we're here to discuss all things Jurassic Park. In this episode, we have some news to take a look at, and then we'll head into a new rendition of Amber Finds, with Amber Finds Collector's Corner. In this version of the segment, Jaye Jurassick brings in other collectors to review a product from the Jurassic franchise, and today, Jaye Jurassick and Aaron Beyer will be looking at the Chronicle Collectibles Breakout T.Rex. It was certainly a divisive piece within the community, so we'll find out what our resident collectors have to say. But that's it, a short intro today. Why don't we get this episode started off with a bit of Jurassic news from around the world.
18 minutes and your company catches up on 10 years of research.
Access main program. Access new security.
These pictures were taken in hospital in Costa Rica 48 hours ago.
I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but look.
Boy, I hate being right all the time.
But today, I guarantee it.
This week, the guys over at Jurassic Outpost got wind of a few pieces of concept art related to Jurassic World. The first one came from Ian Joyner, which is an Indominus Rex concept piece filled with yellow and black and all kinds of spikes and everything. It's a very brutal design, looks really awesome. I don't know how I like it compared to the actual design that they went with. This is certainly a unique piece, one that I would actually love to see in one of these movies eventually. It's so different from the original Indominus, or the one that they went with, the Indominus design, that this could work in a different aspect, but I'd love to see something like that. We'll have these pictures in our show notes. You can also check out the link from Jurassic Outpost in our show notes. But the second one we have should be a little bit more familiar to everybody with Jurassic World. If you saw it in the film, there was a scene where a Stegoceratops, a new hybrid, was shown on a computer screen in one of the labs. Now we have the official look at what that Stegoceratops could have been in the movie with some renders here. Artist Bodin Sturba put out a few images of the Stegoceratops the other day. It's really unique looking, and you got a good sense from that computer image in the movie, but here we have a fully rendered image of that Stegoceratops. It looks interesting, that's for sure. It's fully colored, it has some browns, some greens, and I don't know, I kind of like it, but also I don't know if it would have blended well in the movie. We've talked about that plenty of times before. It looks like it has mostly like a now I'm confused with all these names, Stegosaurus body with the Triceratops head and sort of like the bull horns almost more so. But it's a unique concept, that's for sure. And I'm kind of glad it got left off the table, but this does look kind of beautiful. Again, you can see the renderings in our show notes and also find a link to Jurassic Outpost article. We've been missing out on saying happy birthday lately, and yeah, so what? We missed a few big ones. Ariana Richards, Sam Neill, Frank Marshall, Colin Trevorrow last week, but this week we did want to say happy birthday to Joe Mazzello, Tim from Jurassic Park, on Thursday, September 21st. Happy birthday from everybody in the Jurassic community.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Who's got some change? He takes quarters. I got $1. I got $1.10.
How'd you get it?
You don't want to know.
Her name, we got it.
Where did you get that?
I got it on eBay.
When they're expensive, put them back.
He's a digger.
Muchacho, vete on the move! I have promised to conduct a very thorough on-site inspection.
And get stuff in the sand.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I got it for $150,
But we'll pay it. And then there's the merchandise. And I can personally...
Donald, this park was not built to cater only for the super rich.
that first park was legit.
I could write all kinds of numbers on this check.
I remember that on InGen's list. It's because it wasn't on their list.
This fossilized tree sap, which we call amber, We've been on the verge of chapter 11.
That's gonna be cool, right?
She can't not touch. She can't not touch. Why she right up? Look at that. Why she sees something, she's got.
Whoa.
This is overwhelming, John.
So, I see you already got your wristbands.
Loaned it to Nash. He must have had it when he...
Have fun and take very good care of them, okay?
Hello, Jurassic fans. Today we have a special episode of Amber Finds, or, just a collector's corner review, We're going to be reviewing the very controversial or very awesome Chronicle Collectibles Breakout T.Rex. Well, Rexy for most of us in the Jurassic community. And we have an awesome contributor to the podcast over here, Mr. Aaron Breyer. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Ready to review this statue here?
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, you kind of hesitated on Amber Finds, and we're like, Collector's Corner. It's different to be getting brand new collectibles for this franchise, right?
It is, and it's very exciting just having something of like high quality for the franchise, and it shows that the franchise is being taken seriously this time around,
Right. So let's see. Let's talk about the Breakout Rex. I think we should start off with the fact that it retails for $549 US. Pre-ordered it within the first 30 days. You got it for $500, which is pretty high price. This is probably one of the more expensive Jurassic Park items out there, but sadly for high-end collectibles, this actually is one of the least expensive. What do you think of that?
It's crazy. It's like I got it for the 500 because I was one of those. Did you order it for the pre-order?
Yeah, so
were you there on the website?
I was right there for the pre-order. No, I don't remember when it crashed.
The site.
Yes, I do remember when it crashed.
Yes,
yeah, I specifically remember that now.
The site was down for like an entire day, and I remember saying to myself, "Oh no, I'm not gonna get this statue." Remember when they came out with the bull T-Rex, right?
Sure.
With that one, I was like, I can't get that right now. And as much as I love the bull T-Rex, I was disappointed I wasn't able to get it. But then when they said they were coming out with the Breakout T-Rex, and it's Rexy, the T-Rex that like made me fall in love with dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, I was like, oh, I have to get that one. And then you get on the site and it was down, and it was like frustrating because I'm not gonna get it, But I did. I was one of the ones that pre-ordered at 500. You were saying this is like the low end of the high collectibles?
Yeah, it feels like that, right? Like, I know a lot of this stuff, Chronicle seems to be kind of like new into the collectible game with Jurassic Park, which they just have a few out right now. And usually big collectibles for Jurassic Park seem to almost be like props or, just crazy big replicas and stuff like that. I know Sideshow Collectibles did a T-Rex vs. Raptors statue. Wow, it has to be almost 10 years ago. And I did pick that one up back in the day.
Oh, you have that one?
Yeah, I do have that one. I've got that one with the banner. And that
awesome.
one, for the time, was pretty high quality. I think a lot of, computer technology has brought sculpting kind of to the next level for these collectibles.
Yes,
and so, for me, I look at the Breakout, and I think the Breakout is better than the Sideshow Collectibles T-Rex. In all fairness, I don't have mine with me. Mine was shipped to my family's house, and I'm going to pick it up later. So the only thing I've seen are photos of my T-Rex in the plastic, but I have seen photos of yours. So really, we are referencing your specific Rex, and we're going to be referencing the Rex from the review video by Jurassic Collectibles.
So, should I start off?
Yeah, so what are your general impressions?
Okay, so when I took this gal out of her box, I thought, I know it says the dimensions and how big it is and whatnot, but for some reason I thought it was a little bit bigger. So, but that that's not the biggest problem with it or anything. But I was like, oh, it's a little smaller than I thought,
Right.
But because I kept hearing it's huge, it's such a huge statue. So I was comparing the size to my Sideshow Collectibles Triumph King T-Rex.
Okay.
Like that. I don't know if do you have one of those?
No.
Of the Dinosauria collection?
The Dinosauria, I have the Stegosaur and I have a Styracosaur, but I don't have.
Those are pretty cool ones.
Yeah, I don't have that particular one you're talking about.
Well, I have that one, and I have the special edition one, which brings a Hadrosaur carcass, which is really cool.
Okay, yeah.
and it's a big statue. When you put it next to this the Breakout Rex, the Breakout Rex is a lot smaller. But that wasn't the biggest thing that kind of underwhelmed me about it. The sculpt itself is fantastic. She really looks like she's breaking out of that fence, like in the movie when Malcolm's like, oh, I hate, I hate that I'm always right, like it's the same exact pose. Of course, it has like a different lighting towards it because it's more like a daylight shot of her.
Sure.
The sculpt is beautiful, and from like when I have it sitting on a shelf right now, the way you look at it from every angle, it's Rexy. My big thing was the body has a lot of airbrushing, but the face is where the airbrushing kind of just stopped. It's weird. It's like they went in there with like a paintbrush and just dotted her face, and that's where the statue itself underwhelmed me.
When you sent me your original photos, I was like, oh, okay, so the body matches up with the model that we were shown initially at the launch. And it's one of these things, right? Like, I didn't want to say to you, like, dude, that face looks real off, right? Because we just spent a bunch of money on this stuff, and so it's kind of like the last thing you want to do is be like, oh, dude, like, this ain't good. For me, I think mine in the plastic that I've seen photos of looks a little more airbrushed in the front, but there's two, yours and this one on the Jurassic Collectibles video, that both have this strong dotting, which leads me to believe that the photos I'm seeing of mine are just maybe a little out of focus, or the plastic is kind of distorting that. I don't necessarily know if this is what I would consider acceptable because of the price, because of other high-end collectible companies out there like Sideshow and like Hot Toys. I'm really big into Hot Toys, and when I buy a Hot Toy, the model that you see in the presentation, there's only one. They put together a what's the word I'm looking for? They put together like a mock-up, right? Or a prototype. And they're like, this is what it's going to look like. Any collector kind of knows that, generally the prototype is always the best one. They hire their best artist. Chronicle, even for the new Comstock Nathus, hired the paint artist from the original Lost World movie and Compy to do that paint job. But like, let's get back to Hot Toys and Sideshow. When you buy one of their products, yes, you are seeing the best display lighting you can possibly see in those photos. But when I buy like a Hot Toy, the Hot Toy that I get in the mail looks really close, if not exactly or better than the one that you see in the initial prototype phase. And so when I use the word acceptable, that sounds really negative, but the paint job on the dots is very sharp, and the one in the prototype was very, like you said, airbrushed. And so I have to say to myself, like, does this hinder me from pre-ordering other Chronicle collectibles for the Jurassic Park series? And my answer is yes. This leads me to worry a little bit about the Owen and Blue. If the face of Rexy is a bit off, creatures are way easier to fake than humans. So when we get that human paint job on Owen, are we going to be really let down in the future? So I actually didn't plan on getting that one, but I did plan on getting the Alan Grant 6-scale figure, because like I said, I'm a huge Hot Toys guy, which is 6-scale figures, and I'm a little worried about that Alan Grant and the 6-scale Owen as well. So I may hold off on a pre-order those two characters. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. That's a little alarming to me.
I completely understand, because that's exactly my mindset. Okay, so the sculpt itself, it's so detailed, it's so beautifully done. And with the fence and everything, it all goes all well together. But then you get to that paint job, and it bothers me. Like now, I moved her from the place that I had her sitting on top of one of my shelves, and she's right in front of me right now, in front of the microphone, and I'm looking right at her. Oh, it's just such a minor thing that they could have so simply fixed, and it makes you think that too. Like, should I order other stuff? Some people have that money to just throw away $500 like that. I don't have that.
Right.
I'm an apprentice, a tattoo apprentice. Like, it was hard for me to like save up to get this thing. That paint job doesn't take away from the rest of the sculpt itself, but it is what you're saying. Is it acceptable? So then I compare. I'm not a big collectible guy in the sense of like Sideshow or Hot Toys or stuff like that. I really don't have any of those type of statues. I just have one that I can compare this to, which is from Sideshow, the Dinosauria T.Rex statue. Now when I look at that statue, it looks just like the one they show.
Right.
It really does. The Hadrosaurus carcass, same thing. All of it looks exactly like what I saw, and I got what I saw. So then I was really happy with it. the paint job that you see the one in as the prototype is not the greatest paint job for the sideshow. So when you look at this one, it's very dry brushed and very grungy looking T-Rex, you know. But it is what you order. Like, I ordered that. I knew it was going to be that type of paint job, but I really wanted that Rex. The sculpt is fantastic. So detailed. And that's what I got. I think I paid $350 for it, and $350 is what I got for that. Bigger statue and, like, awesome, exactly what I ordered. I paid $500 for this one, and I'm getting something that's not exactly what I saw. When you see others T-Rex breakout statues, they have this, there's such an inconsistency, you know, and I know you've seen that too, right?
Yeah, I've seen it in a couple of different pictures and videos, and you know, at the end of the day, if you took away the fence and you took away the pedestal, okay, I would look at the final product and I would know that that's Rexy. But my judgment would be, I know that T-Rex so well that there's really no level of greatness that's going to necessarily fool me into thinking that it's exactly correct, right? And I use fool in like a visual effects aspect, right? Like visual effects are all, it's all fooling you, right? It's fooling your eye. But when you look at certain things that you know aren't real in visual effects, you don't necessarily quote unquote fall for the illusion, right? You know, you look at the sculpt and you're like, that is Stan Winston and Crash McCreary's T-Rex. No doubt about it. It's just when you get to the face that you're like, okay, it kind of like, you know, falls apart a little bit. I'm not at all bashing on this. Where my aspect is coming from, you know, I look at Chronicle, who I don't necessarily think is as well established as Sideshow. I could be completely wrong about that in the collector's market, but to me, they're not as established as Sideshow, and they're not as established in my collection as Hot Toys. So I just worry a little bit about like people who are pre-ordering maybe the Compsog Nathus. Well, they're pre-ordering it based off of a paint job that was done by a Hollywood professional who knows that character. That artist was given multiple notes from Stan Winston, Steven Spielberg, you know, other artists. So he now knows that paint job better than anyone on this planet. And so when you mass produce a collectible like this and you send it, maybe, you know, I don't know if it's done in the States, if it's done overseas, I'm not exactly sure where. The person who does the final paint job for a client, they don't know that paint job as well. So I think it would behoove them, you know, Chronicle, to in the future show us what their paint team is going to do on a mass market thing. As far as the size goes, I did really appreciate that Jurassic Collectibles put the Ian Malcolm figure in his video, because I was like, even with the Jeep, I had never seen that Jeep before, and then he showed like the mug, and I'm like, okay, well, mugs can kind of vary, but as soon as he put that Ian Malcolm figure in the video, I was like, boom, I know exactly how big this thing is. I know what I'm getting to. But yeah, as far as like size and quality, he is a lot more than the Sideshow, and I hope that that's not reflective of how the 6 scale figures are going to be, because I really think with a 6 scale figure for the Owen and Allen that are coming out, you really need to be, you know, at or below around 230. 230 is pretty high for a 6 scale figure of that quality. So I think even like the Full Metal Iron Man 6 scale figures, which are completely custom cut out of metal, those only get up to about 300. So I'm really hoping that the Allen and the Owen are sub 220, I think is an acceptable rate, and those paint jobs have to be perfect.
Yes, they do. I've heard that they were gonna make a Malcolm figure, and that's the one that I would probably go after.
Yeah.
Because I have to be selective with some of those high-end collectibles at the moment. Like maybe a year or two from now, I'll be more financially stable to be able to collect more stuff. But if I'm gonna choose that over like a 20-year-old collectible that, you know, how I collect a bunch of stuff for my collection of Jurassic Park, and it costs a little more, I'd rather go for that if I'm not getting what I want exactly from this company. You know what I mean? I've seen some other reviewers and they're happy, and I'm glad they are, you know, but I'm not like mad or completely disappointed, but I am underwhelmed. That's basically it. I was asked like yesterday about it, and I was like, I'm just underwhelmed. I didn't return it because I'm happy to the point that it's like, it looks like Rexy. I love that it is an actual piece, like a statue collectible from Jurassic Park that I finally have, because I didn't get the Sideshow one. But it's just that paint job just really bothers me.
You know,
and as an artist, it bothers me, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's part of it too, is both of us are artists, and so now could I do the job that they did? There is not a chance in this world that I could do the job that they did on a physical model like this. I could probably do close, if not a tiny bit better digitally, maybe, if I had a lot of time. What I do love about this statue is, and it's the same exact thing with the sideshow, when you're up close, you see the flaws. When it's relaxing in your room, right, and I sit back from my sideshow statue and hopefully from my Chronicle statue, and my dream is kind of to have like a screening room almost, with like a nice TV one day and some nice sound and a lot of my Jurassic Park stuff around. This will be perfect in that situation. This is going to be perfect on my desk here at home when I finally get it here with me. I'm not upset to the level of like wanting, like you, I'm not upset to the level of, you know, calling up my family and saying, hey, return this thing because this is definitely not what I ordered. This is very close to what I ordered, and I'm totally happy with it.
Yeah.
There's no reason to return something like this. To think that, you know, to maybe have Chronicle out there thinking that we're anything but, you know, happy with it is maybe a mistake. It's just, it is a little underwhelming in the fact that I feel like the prototype was better than the final output, which is nothing I've ever experienced specifically. I think maybe with the with the sideshow Stegosaurus, the paint job was a little more vibrant on the website, but you know, a lot of that boils down to color correction and lighting. This particular paint job doesn't boil down to color correction and lighting. This is a matter of brush quality, technique, pattern, you know, patterns that are not represented in the film or on any other maquettes or anything. Again, very close. I would say, you know, if I got to rate the paint job between, you know, 0 and 100, it gets like a 90 because the rest of the body is absolutely amazing. It's just the head that's a little bit off, but no one is going to see that and think that's not a Jurassic Park T-Rex. They're going to know exactly what that is.
Oh, definitely. You know instantly it's a JP Rex.
Right.
It has that bulldog type skull. The body itself, it's Rexy. It really is her. And the body paint job, the airbrushing, all that. The body is awesome. I love. It looks like she's coming out of the jungle catching that Gallimimus in that daylight. It's just like when I'm moving down and I go to like one of the most important parts, the face. You just see those dots and they're very, very like, you know, they're right there.
Yeah, they are right there, but at the same time, you know, this is one of the first times that we're seeing Jurassic Park get licensed out to a high quality, you know, thing, and they've got other things in the works. You know, I'm very excited for the Crash McCreary style baby raptors. What's great about those is that no matter what paint job they do, it's going to be okay because we've never actually physically seen those raptors in color on the screen. We've only ever truly seen black and whites and maybe a few color mock-ups. But because, and this is what you experience with the sideshow statues, is because it's nothing you've ever specifically seen, loved, and adored over the past 25 years, we're going to accept that paint job more than we probably do the current Breakout Rex, which still is a phenomenal piece of art. There's no doubt about that.
Let's move off from the Rex and let's talk about the rest of the piece itself.
Oh yeah, because you did have a few issues. Yeah,
I did. The platform itself is really cool. How it has that shape of Nublar when you look at it from a top view.
Right.
It has the logo Jurassic Park in like a bronze type of like finish. The fence itself. Now I've seen that there's variants of how the fence is placed. Some of them, the middle bar or pole is more towards the middle of the entire like 3 bar structure. Mine is way to the left. It's like angled a lot more than I've seen others. I think Jurassic Collectibles has the same angle as mine. There's other ones that I've seen that have the one that he actually shows you how to the assembly of the fence. If you notice in the video, his is not so far off to the left, it's more towards the middle. And it leaves my string, there's a string on the back that you attach onto the platform that holds up the middle bar. It's actually loose on mine because of the angle. It actually doesn't keep it tight.
Ooh.
Yeah, and guys, this is just a warning out there. Be very careful with the hoops where you put your wiring. They're very weakly glued. One of them just completely broke off. One came out glued, like it wasn't glued on right, and one of them completely snapped in half. So I have 2 hoops that are not in there, and I can, luckily for me, I work on, like, you know, I make my own toys and make my own stuff and whatever Jurassic Park wise. So I have all these types of glues and whatnot, so I can fix it. Not everyone is an artist and works with toys and painting and all that stuff, so they can fix it themselves. That's one thing to look out for when you're actually assembling your fence. It's not that strong.
Well, we should maybe, you know, throw this out there to anybody who this is going to be their first, you know, big collectible purchase. Number 1, awesome, congratulations, this thing is gorgeous, you're gonna love it. But 2, I keep a little tube of like modeling like super glue. Now this isn't like you go to Michael's and you grab this off the shelf. These glues are usually, you can go to Michael's for sure, or a craft store. These are usually actually by law, like in California and some other states, these are locked up because they are super strong. They don't want kids necessarily buying this glue, you know, for other reasons as well, but they're usually locked up. Just ask like a representative, and these glues, they dry really fast. I've had a situation with a hot toy where a little piece had kind of, it didn't break, it just, the glue that was holding it in kind of came loose, and so in shipping, yes, did it look broken? Yeah, but I was able to pop it back in with this glue. Very quick drying, dries 100% clear. You would never know that this piece was glued on. Talk about how sticky it is. It will be, if you get it on your fingers, it'll be there for a solid like 3 or 4 days. It's not coming off. So keep that in mind, is have something like that in your house if you're going to be getting into these collectibles.
Yeah, I have that type of glue. I have one that's actually really, really good. It's for action figures that I make custom. It's a certain type of epoxy type glue. Yeah, that one I have in a box with like a skull and crossbones, because that thing is like highly toxic if like you get it on your skin. It's meant for putting like stuff together, you know?
Right.
Once it dries, it's completely safe, but without it being dry, it will stick your skin together like super glue, and it's gonna be like a trip to the hospital to get that unglued.
Right,
you know?
right.
So you don't want that.
No.
But for stuff like this, it works, and I just haven't had the time to put it together. But yeah, just be careful with it because it is delicate, you know, and it just one just broke off and the other one got unglued. It's nothing I can't fix, just everyone else out there, you know what I mean? It's not, you might not have that glue, go get it, or just be very careful with it.
Now,
it didn't break, it wasn't broken when I got it. It broke on assembly.
Did you follow the video instructions on the actual website, or did you like attempt to do
I
it?
did.
Oh, you did?
I did. It was
okay.
just, yeah, it was just like, for some reason that one was loose, and the other one, the wire, when it was looping around, it just snapped it, and I was like, oh damn. But other than that, I didn't have much problem with it.
Okay.
It would, if I would have to rate this entire statue like out of 1 through 10.
Sure. Yeah.
I would say it's like an 8.5. You know what I mean? Its flaw is that little airbrush dots. But if I'm gonna use that airbrush dots to completely destroy the entire thing of this statue, it's stupid, because the statue itself, the platform, the fence, the whole outlook of it is just awesome. It really is.
Yeah, you know, I feel like we're hung up on these dots, but that's like fans who get hung up on Kelly using gymnastics to beat a raptor. Like,
yes,
one weird little thing is not enough to destroy a review or a rating on something. I mean, this thing's beautiful, and I'm exactly with you. I would put this about an 8.5 to an 8 for collectibles, and you know, out of 10, I am not at all disappointed with my purchase on this. I cannot wait to get mine in my hands on my desk.
Like I said, I'm not disappointed. I'm just a little underwhelmed on the dots, I guess. You know what it is too, since it is like one of my first Jurassic Park like high-end collectible, I held it to like a super high standard where I don't even think they could have passed it, you know? It's like when you're like anticipating a movie with these like super high hopes, and not even if the movie's amazing, it still doesn't hold up to your standard in a way. So I feel like that's kind of made me a little jaded with it. Other than that, it's, you know what I mean, like I said, 8.5, dude. I think for any Jurassic Park fan, if you can afford it and if you're willing to shell out that money for it, I think it's a must-have, especially if you're a collector of Jurassic Park items.
You know, it's funny that you said, like, you know, you had such a high expectation of this piece because it was your first one in school for VFX. My modeling professor, you know, he told us, whatever you do not send out a demo reel with Star Wars models on it. The reasoning behind that was everybody in visual effects, they know Star Wars. they are going to nitpick every little thing that is wrong with your artwork when it comes to Star Wars, because as a 3D modeler, you're supposed to hit the mark exactly. You're supposed to, your model should be indistinguishable from, something previous. It's like people picking apart the new Jurassic World Rexy compared to the Jurassic Park Rexy, right? So he said, do not put Star Wars models on your demo reel, because everybody in visual effects knows Star Wars. And I feel like for those who are buying this Rexy model, it's never going to reach that 10.0 for Jurassic collectors, because everyone knows Rexy. There is no way that it's going to exceed expectations, because we expect the moon when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, bravo to Chronicle and whoever their artists were for getting it this close, because it does look really good.
Exactly, and just like you said, everyone knows Rexy, and Rexy is the dinosaur that made me fall in love with dinosaurs. So of course I'm gonna know and be so nitpicky about the dinosaur that I'm in love with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's to that, this pose, this dinosaur, like you said, this is the dinosaur. And every time I get, in my life, I've been fortunate enough to have a few different TVs, right? And every time there's a media jump, right, from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray to digital or whatever, every time I acquire some new, better way of watching Jurassic Park, the very first thing I do is put in the media, instantly fast forward or go to the chapter where Rexy breaks out and there's that iconic roar sequence as she comes through that fence. That is my, if it looks great in presentation, I'm sold on the technology 100%. So for me, I know this pose, more than any pose in Hollywood, because this is the pose that I go to when I get something like that. So again, yeah, no huge complaints about this model. Do I wish that the face was a little more airbrushed than brush painted? Yeah. But again, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. You said roughly the same thing. So,
basically, yeah.
I think that kind of wraps it up. Did you have anything else that you wanted to specifically say about it?
I actually wanted to say something to what you said about not the model itself, but just wanted to add on to that. Watching the breakout scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got a 4K big TV for my mom for Mother's Day and whatnot. I was like, I need to see the scene, and I popped in Jurassic Park and went straight for that scene just to see it in the big screen.
It's so funny. I had the opportunity to work on Jurassic Park 3D, and it was like, I was interested in getting a 3D TV at the time, because it was like, okay, I'm working on 3D movies, and I want to have a way to kind of watch, me and my cohorts work, down the line. But as soon as they announced Jurassic Park 3D and that I was going to get a chance to work on it, I looked at my wife and I'm like, we have to go buy a 3D TV, because as soon as that 3D Blu-ray comes out, I'm gonna want to watch that, at home. And so, yeah, it's like, I'm kind of dreading when Jurassic gets the 4K treatment, because one, I do feel that Jurassic Park is kind of starting to fall apart as we continue to dust bust it and up-res it for these high definition TVs. But 4K, I'm gonna want a 4K TV, and I don't want to invest in 4K whatsoever.
Yeah, it costs a lot.
Unless you need a new TV, and then it's like, okay, fine, but I don't need a new TV. So hopefully the 4K version of Jurassic is down the lines a little bit. Although this is the 25th anniversary, so who knows?
Yeah, that one's coming up, so yeah, we might see that.
Maybe, possibly. Who knows? I'm sure Jurassic World 2 will have a 4K release.
Oh, definitely.
I think that should, I think that kind of wraps it up. I don't have too much to say about it. I know I'm really excited to get it. But other than that, where can people find you?
Well, of course, you guys know you can find me at Twitter or on Instagram at Jaye Jurassick. What about you, my friend?
People can find me on Twitter at Aaron D. Beyer. You can search for me on IMDb. Unfortunately, I haven't updated that in a really long time. I'm getting pestered to update that. But if you want to check anything out that I've recently worked on, I did get a chance to work on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in 3D.
Nice.
So, yeah, so please go check that out. We're all really excited about it.
It looks awesome. I haven't seen it yet, but I am going to see it soon.
Oh, great, man. Can't wait to hear what you think.
All right, so that, I guess, wraps it up for this Amber Finds Collector's Corner review. Hopefully we'll get some other type of statue and we'll review that one later down the line. Well, Jurassic fans, till the next time. See you guys.
See you guys. Have a good one. Hey Jurassic fans, Aaron Beyer here, and you just listened to a special review episode of Amber Finds. The episode was recorded and we wanted to get out to you as fast as possible, but then life found a way to kind of get in the way. And since this review, which we primarily referenced Jaye Jurassick's item, I received my very own Breakout Rex. I just wanted to take a moment to say that I did receive a later edition than Jay, and we noticed that the head paint job was much better. The version I received, while not 100% the same as the announcement image, was much closer to that was advertised. Anyway, that's all I wanted to add, as I felt it was important to correct my opinion, and I can't wait to get more items from Chronicle Collectibles. From all of us here at the Jurassic Park Podcast, thanks for listening.
Make sure to visit JurassicParkPodcast.com to find all our past episodes, brand new news articles, information on how to contact us, and much more. It's a great source for everything related to the podcast, and of course, Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Head to JurassicParkPodcast.com and help us build a great community.
Anybody hear that?
Thanks for listening to the 116th episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. Of course, a big thanks to Jay and Aaron for breaking down the Breakout Rex. I'm kind of glad I held off on picking this one up at first, but it definitely does seem to be getting better as time moves on. I'm certainly looking forward to more Collector's Corner segments as future Jurassic items come out during the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom cycle. Hopefully soon. If you want to interact with us, we do most of our work over on Twitter, at Jurassic Park Pod. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Jurassic Park Podcast, and our Instagram handle is at Jurassic Park Podcast. You can listen to us via iTunes, Google Play, Podomatic, YouTube, our website, or wherever else podcasts are found. So make sure to subscribe to automatically get new episodes every week. If you haven't already, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes or a great review wherever you listen to the podcast. It will seriously help out our rankings and make it easier for fans like you to find us. We're usually spotted commenting on the Jurassic Park subreddit as Jurassic Park Podcast. Don't forget to check out JurassicParkPodcast.com for all the links you heard here today. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email us with any news stories, MP3s, comments, or if you want to debut a segment of your own, send them to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com, or you can submit questions directly on our website contact form. If you'd like to record something for the show, send it in to us and we'll feature it in an upcoming episode. If you don't have any way to record, you can give our voicemail line a call and leave us a message. That number is 732-825-7763. Thanks for listening, and enjoy.
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
You will remember to wash your hands before you eat anything.
Five minutes. Drop what you're doing and leave now.